Okay, in this video we are going to deal with how to get realistic brick textures. This is supposedly going to be a short one as it's not something specifically technical. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this surface to take such a brick texture. So I'm going to click on it. It was made with a morph. So I'm going to adjust the face and I'm going to pick brick, and in this case I'll be going with any random one. So far it's not been used before. I'll be going with the running bond, and we can see that's displayed here. I would also want to apply the same thing to this dwarf wall we have here. Alright, while I'm doing this, let me reach out to anyone who probably has not subscribed to this channel up till this time. If you are a user of ArchiCAD, you really should be here, because if you have any difficulties or if you have any questions regarding anything ArchiCAD, well, this is the place to go. You could ask others, and when I say you could ask, there is a group chat for those who are subscribed to this channel where they are allowed to place requests for videos like this one. I'm not sure if something like this was initially a part of my timetable, but as someone requested, I want to learn how to do this. That is the reason why this video is coming to life. So you are very free to join that group. The link to the group is in the description of this video, and you will be able to ask your own questions. So let's quickly dive in. The user who requested this uses Lumion, but the principles are roughly the same. So I'm going to, first of all, I have Lumion open already, as we can see. What I'm going to do is to use ArchiCAD's live sync and tell Lumion to come on and receive this model. So when I start the live sync, what happens is ArchiCAD transfers the entire model information, including everything we are seeing here, and moves them into the Lumion interface, which okay, is still loading. Sometimes it takes about a minute before you get it. Should be done by now. Alright, so we can tell already that it didn't pick a really friendly portion of the design to begin with. Alright, so if you are not very used to Lumion, you could make requests and I could probably start a series on how Lumion is used. This tutorial isn't necessarily to teach us how to use Lumion. It's just to help this particular subscriber be aware of how to get photorealistic textures, especially for materials that have a lot of grain, a lot of texture. Alright, so I'm going to click on this brick here and then choose outdoor and go to bricks, and among the different brick options, for the specific one in the request he made on the group, let's see if I can find that and display it here. Yes, so he requested for this particular one on the group, and we can see this. So to get something like this, I can tell that it has a sense of depth, so it has a displacement texture on it. So when I click on this, I go to the outdoor bricks, and this particular one has a similar displacement. This does as well. I think this is even closer to what he has than this, so I'll be sticking with this. So I double click on it, tell ArchiCAD I want to further edit this. I'm bringing the camera closer so you might observe some of the effects I'll be using in real time. Alright, so look at what happens to that texture as I'm adjusting the displacement marker right here. You can see the way it feels like it's coming closer and going further. Well, that's because it's making the if you look closely, like at this point when I'm doing it, you can see that it's giving the brick a sense of depth. Here it's flat, here there is that depth. The same thing, something similar, not exactly the same thing, applies when I use the relief, and the relief now makes the depth much more pronounced as opposed to this. Okay, so that's really how it's done. So I'm just going to give it a bit of reflectivity, reduce the gloss so it doesn't feel metallic, and I'm just going to go with a really quick render preset. I wouldn't want to start setting that by default. Start setting that from scratch. I'm going to give a close-up render, at least one that tends to show the material. So I'm just going to find I think I have this. Okay, so what did I click on? Just going to load some effects that has been saved before now. I think there is one here. Alright, yes, so I don't think I need to render for you to see the effect on this material. I'm not going to be keeping this Lumion file, it will be deleted immediately. The purpose of this was just for you to understand that. I hope this was really helpful to you. So others who have learned something here, if you have further questions, join the group and I will attend to you. I hope to see you in the next one, and goodbye for now. Okay, I was about to upload the video when it occurred to me I didn't talk about the imperfections I had mentioned when I made a review on your render. Alright, now let's talk about the edges I mentioned earlier. Look at this edge. Lumion is not making us see it very clearly. Let me change it to the render view. You see the kind of clean straight line we have here? There is nobody that can plaster to this level of perfection. Real life, this would not look like this. It will come close, but it won't look like this. So what you want to do is show somebody the kind of thing they would see real life. So what you are going to do is, if you select any material and you're done editing, in this case I don't want any reflectivity on this, very little gloss, I don't care about the relief because it's just a color. Make sure the color is at the max. One thing I want you to do is go into the weathering here and adjust the edges. Just give it like a 0.2 bevel or 0.1, somewhere in between, and observe the difference when I'm going to open that same view once again. Do you see it's no longer as sharp as it was? Now it looks a bit rounded, it looks a bit beveled. So that's an example of the imperfections I was referring to. So real life, even though it's going to be plain white, it's not going to come sharp like that. Another example is by intentionally introducing weathering on different materials. Let's use this brick for example. So this brick still feels very brand new, but over the age of its life it might be subject to certain level of weathering. Observe what's happening to it as I'm adjusting this. So this now is making it feel a bit old. Look at the way the surface is sort of rough. Take note, if there was no weathering, that it was really clean, and now that I'm doing this, we have this on the face. These are things you don't want to overdo, you just want them mild. Okay, so you don't want to make it excessive, you just apply it mildly and then you end up with something real nice. So you're going to need to do it on a lot of surfaces, especially those whose textures are going to be very easily well defined. Okay, so I would send you materials on the row of imperfection in rendering to just make it much more clearer and more elaborate. I hope that was helpful to you. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Oh, this I'm supposed to stop.